It's Friday, August 30. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The National Water Commission has issued a new supply schedule for residents in the Cockpit area and sections of St. Catherine, as levels at catchment facilities continue to decline due to the prolonged dry spell. NWC customers in Cassia Park, Morton Park, Eastwood Park Gardens, and Cassia Glades in St. Andrew will now receive water from 6 p.m. Saturdays to 6 p.m. on Sundays. Meanwhile, residents of West Great House Circle will get water on Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. Residents of Malines Road, Olympic Gardens, Seaward Drive, Waltham Park Road, Cockburn Gardens, Seabright Gardens, Penwood Avenue, Bay Farm Road, and roads leading off will receive water on alternate days. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Pernell Charles Jr., says the government is to conduct an audit of the island's water supply systems to find solutions for the challenges being experienced by citizens. The minister said that as the government moves to implement solutions, the NWC continues to undertake island-wide infrastructural works to upgrade several of the country's water systems. Labour Minister Shahini Robinson called unionized National Water Commission staff and union heads to a conciliatory meeting on Thursday. This after a strike action precipitated by stalemated wage negotiations with the company's management on Wednesday. General Secretary of the National Workers Union, Granville Valentine, said the union is yet to sign the 4-year wage agreement as its members are not satisfied with the company's offer regarding some fringe benefits. The management is reportedly offering $40,000 over 4 years in a one-time payment, which the workers see as an insult. The NWU General Secretary has called for the Ministry of Finance to intervene immediately to help settle the dispute. There is division in the public transport sector over whether to strike on Monday to push the government to grant a fare increase. It is understood that some taxi operators are planning to withdraw their service. However, the National Council of Taxi Association and Quota is against the move, saying it is ill-timed and the safety of thousands of children will be compromised. A director of NCOTA, Shirley Johnson, said although the association agrees a fare increase is long overdue, it will not participate in the protest. As was reported earlier, Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Wednesday met with 3 major stakeholders in the entertainment industry and restated the government's commitment to protecting the designated Cockpit Country Protected Area. Meeting at Vale Royal with the stakeholders, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said he understands the sensitivities surrounding the discussion on the Cockpit Country. However, he noted the government is in a far better position to resolve the matter.
The government is quite advanced in a process of coming to a decision as to whether or not there should be any mining allowed in this area. The disputed area.
Just outside of the
right?
area.
That's number one. Right.
The Stuart Town down to...
Number 2, the government is exploring alternatives.
Right.
That can be said, that we're looking at alternatives. Number 3, the government is committed to protecting the area that has been declared. We are committed to protecting that area. And we are in the process of physically marking the boundary on the ground, and we are asking the public and persons involved in the area to support the demarcation.
Yeah, we've seen in social media where people believe that those markings were markings for mining. People have posted that in all sorts of wild groups. So instead of understanding that that was actually the border to protect the space, some people assumed it was a border being put in place.
But you always going to find Wassamon bees.
So we work. The other thing is that the government is also very sensitive to the hydrological issues, particularly what is happening now. So that will feature heavily in any decision that the government makes.
In that regard, the Prime Minister stated that the government has carefully examined that area that needs to be protected and has defended it to ensure that there is no intrusion from surrounding communities. According to Prime Minister Holness, geomorphology and hydrology of the Cockpit country will be protected from activities such as mining, deforestation, and water contamination. Endangered and indigenous species of flora and fauna will also be protected, and harmful farming practices prohibited. In addition to that, Prime Minister Holness stated that the boundary of the Cockpit country protected area is already defined with a buffer to protect against intrusion into forest.
If we don't do it now, eventually you're going to find intrusion. You're going to find many of these communities growing and intruding into the forest and into the water resources. And that is why I thought it was very important to draw a line and defend that line. Yeah. All right, we can argue over the line, but let's have a line that we're defending.
So for those now who are outside the boundary, who said they should be a part of it, the message to them should be about them protecting their communities.
Yes, you can protect the areas even without being
a part
of the boundary. And everybody now has to be careful. So if you are a farmer in let's say soils, and you are a big yam farmer, and you need to be able to cut down trees, clear land, use fertilizer, you may not be able to do that in the protected area. So these are the kinds of considerations that are in play.
According to Prime Minister Holness, economic activities that do not threaten the preservation of the Cockpit country can still be considered. However, such actions must satisfy the regulations of NEPA. In the meantime, Prime Minister Holness said the measures that have been implemented will improve Jamaica's aesthetics. An urgent meeting has been called by Bank of Jamaica Governor Richard Biles with the island's deposit-taking institutions. They are to discuss the pace of passing on reductions in the bank's policy rates to borrowers. DTIs are commercial banks, merchant banks, and building societies. The move to call in the DTIs for such a meeting comes as the central bank on Wednesday again lowered its policy rate by 25 basis points to 0.5%. The policy interest rate represents the interest rate offered by the BOJ on overnight placements. Speaking at the BOJ's quarterly monetary policy report yesterday, Biles opened the door for DTIs to meet with him, explaining that, quote, whatever blockage is in the system that is causing the rates to not go down as fast, I want them to talk why we are not seeing a better transmission of the policy rate reductions to borrowers, end quote. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says he believes there are some 100,000 warrants ready to be signed and issued to road traffic offenders. The Justice Minister is urging motorists to obey the country's road traffic laws and avoid being prosecuted. The Justice Minister is also proposing a system which would require repeat traffic offenders to resit the national driving test. Minister Chuck says he'll make the proposal to Cabinet. The minister was addressing a Justice Ministry's Child Diversion Sensitization Seminar on Tuesday. Police are advising motorists to expect delays when traveling on Constant Spring Road in St. Andrew in the vicinity of Manor Park. The police say the delay is being caused by a major pipe-laying exercise currently being done in the area. Traffic changes and restrictions will be implemented along Central Avenue of Constant Spring Road in St. Andrew and Marcus Garvey Drive in the vicinity of Chesterfield Drive. The changes, which take effect on September 1, are part of the National Works Agency's plan to improve traffic flow for the reopening of schools on Monday. NWA Communication Manager Stephen Shaw said traffic coming from the direction of Constant Spring Road or Shortwood Road will be able to enter Central Avenue. However, motorists will be restricted from exiting Central Avenue onto Constant Spring Road. Mr. Shaw said motorists traveling on Chesterfield Drive heading towards Portmore Toll Road or downtown Kingston will no longer be able to turn right onto Marcus Garvey Drive. In the meantime, the NWA Communications Manager said a Florida T intersection will be implemented along Mandela Highway. And now for a feature that will tickle your taste buds on Culinary Trails. The Sea Deck restaurant at Orchid Village in St. Andrew is a haven for seafood lovers. Not only does it serve delectable food, it also offers great vibes and friendly staff. They have so many great choices on the menu. It seems as if I'm going to have to come back again and again just so I can try all the dishes on the menu.
Are you ready to order?
Yes, we are. I'm going to order for everybody if you don't mind.
No problem.
Okay, so to start, we'd like fish soup. Then for our entree, we'd like steamed fish with crackers, garlic lobster with steamed bami, some barbecue wings with potato wedges, and the Sea Deck style shrimp with mashed potatoes.
Okay, and would you like anything from the drink menu?
Of course, of course, of course. I'd like to try the Miami Vice. Ali would like the Candy Crush. Kamisha would like the blended fruit punch. And Mr. McLean, he's going to have the pina colada.
Okay. Does that complete the order?
Yes, yes.
All
it does.
right.
Our fish soup arrived in quick time to warm our tummies before the main course. Did I mention the yummy chunks of fish in the soup? Alicia got her spicy fried wings.
Welcome to Sea Deck. I am Kemar Morris. I am the mixologist here. Today we'll be making a multi-layer drink, a simple multi-layer drink. You know the Miami Vice, what the girls them love, yeah, Rochelle, yeah. So we're going to make it as easy as can be and pretty as can be so you can Instagram and all that. Here we go. Start off with the bottom, which is the strawberry daiquiri mix part. All right, so I'm going to start there. I had two different spirits to this. White rum for the strawberry and coconut rum for the middle. Pina colada.
The drinks were delivered just in time for the main course. We ordered steamed fish with crackers, garlic lobster with steamed bami, barbecued wings with potato wedges, and Sea Deck styled shrimp with mashed potato. This drink is delicious. I love it here at Sea Deck. The food is good, the vibe is nice, the staff is friendly. I didn't have to wait very long for my food. I love the environment, the sound of the water, I love that. I love the fish, all the flora, all the plants. It's just really a nice, tropical, relaxing vibe. Now, what I want to know is,
Is there another sea deck anywhere near you?
So this is the only sea deck restaurant, but we're under a chain of restaurants. It's called Yo Restaurant. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the name. We have different branches here in Kingston. We have branches in Maypen, branches in Mandeville. I mean, we're one franchise, but this is the only sea deck. We're the only one that specializes in seafood.
So what can customers expect from their experience when they come here?
Fresh seafood every day, because we get delivered every day. So we have fresh seafood along with our excellent customer service. We have a very friendly mixologist, so you can expect drink from a friendly mixologist. He prefers that term. During the week, we're not that busy, so we would be, on average, we'll have like 2 customers in here for lunch, and then dinner will probably get a little bit busy. So we enjoy serving our customer on a day-to-day basis, honestly. And since I've been here, the experience has been great. I've met a lot of great people, because you know, when you're serving persons, you get to meet a lot of new persons. For example, we met you through serving. So, I mean, I have a wonderful time serving.
Immaculately prepared. The mashed potato, magnificent. Sea deck special shrimp. I can taste the ginger and the scallion in it. Adds a lot of flavor. Pretty good.
Well, the fish is really sumptuous today, and the staff here is wonderful. I really love the environment. I wondered why you have never taken me here before.
The US dollar on Thursday, August 29, ended trading at Jamaican $137.86, up by 61 cents. That's according to the Bank of Jamaica's daily foreign exchange trading summary. The Canadian dollar ended trading at Jamaican $103.99, down from $104.42, while the British pound sterling ended trading at Jamaican $168.43, up from $168.25. In regional news, authorities in Trinidad and Tobago are considering legal action against former SSA director. Legal advice is being sought regarding comments made by former SSA Director of Intelligence, Director Carlton Denny. Denny had said publicly that Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley had instructed him to fire East Indian employees while he held the director portfolio. Speaking at Thursday's post-cabinet media briefing, National Security Minister Stuart Young said the state is looking to see if Mr. Denny breached any confidentiality clause of his contract.
I have asked the legal officers to look at both his contract, which contain his contract at the time at the SSA, which contains confidentiality and secrecy provisions, but also a written oath of secrecy, and to have the legal analysis performed, working with the Office of the Attorney General, to see if there was any breach of that and any legal action that can be taken. And again, I say that this is being done not because it is Mr. Denny. It has nothing to do with the individual, but it is duty of the government and as the Minister of National Security for us to continue to protect organizations and our intelligence organization. Because if officers believe that they can serve, and we are giving you exposure to classified secret information, and then you are upset or you have a disagreement with your employer and you can go out there now and expose state secrets, it cannot be tolerated. And we will take action against Mr. Denny if he has breached those provisions to protect the institution.
In the meantime, Carlton Denny has made changes to his previous statement. He maintains that he was instructed to fire East Indian employees, but he now says the instructions didn't come from Prime Minister Rowley.
I did not say that the PNM told me to fire the East Indians. I did not say that the Minister of National Security told me to fire the East Indians. I said that I served under 4 different heads of National Security Council. The director of the SSA is the person who attends the National Security Council meeting. So for the PM and other ministers to go harping on these minor issues, to create spins and redirect, refocus all of the main issues, just show the games that politics play to offset the minds of people in the public. I am not here for that. I said that Matthew Andrews, the former illegal interim director of the SSA, asked me to assist him in firing the East Indians.
And still in Trinidad, Watson Duke, president of Public Service Association, is to be charged with sedition.
The police service has made no announcement regarding the charge against Duke, who has been in custody since Monday, assisting with investigations into statements he allegedly made several months ago. But the National Security Minister said at that news conference that he had been informed that clearance had been given by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to lay one charge of sedition against the union leader. The trade unions have charged that the arrest of Duke is politically motivated.
National Security Minister Stuart Young has cited the Sedition Act, which is still on the law books.
The Sedition Act has been applied. Sedition has been something in existence from time immemorial. That is an act that existed before we had a written constitution. So it will be caught by the saving laws provision. The courts will deal with that. At this stage, in my view, it is on the books, it exists. If the police service, and I want to make this point very, very clear, it is the police service utilizing it. I'm seeing certain political opponents and others suggest it is the government behind recent sedition charges. Again, as the Minister of National Security, I can say here categorically, at no point in time were any instructions given, or did I interfere with any police investigation. I am told, as I was just told before coming in here, for example, that the Director of Public Prosecutions has given instructions or given the clearance for Mr. Duke to be charged with one count of sedition.
The Virgin Islands experienced heavy flooding during the passage of Hurricane Dorian on Wednesday. However, Premier of the British Virgin Islands, Andrew Foy, said there has not been any report of significant damage or loss of life.
But he said there was some major flooding on the outskirts of Road Town, with some damage to buildings reported and debris on some roads in those areas. A curfew that had been imposed from 2 p.m. on a Wednesday expired on Thursday morning at 6, and most government offices opened by 10. But the Central Administration Complex remained closed after an initial assessment by authorities. No word was given on exactly how Dorian had impacted the facility, but the complex had been in line for repairs prior to the hurricane's passage. The U.S. Virgin Islands was also impacted by Dorian's heavy rains, which caused flooding in parts of the territory. A curfew was lifted for residents of the St. Thomas St. John district at 8 a.m. on Thursday after road crews had cleared debris. Dorian is still a Category 1 hurricane with winds near 85 miles per hour, but it's forecast to strengthen during the next few days and become a major hurricane on Friday and remain an extremely dangerous one through the weekend.
Two major political parties are reacting to the decision of the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, to abandon the house-to-house re-verification process. We get more in this HGP News report.
The decision of the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, Justice Claudette Singh, to put an end to the house-to-house registration on Saturday. The Partnership for National Unity, APNU, has noted that its position on the conclusion of the house-to-house registration is that it will abide by the laws and fully supports GECOM and this decision. The grouping of parties which make up APNU has made it clear that they are ready for the elections. The house-to-house registration should have run until October 20, but that will no longer take place. According to GECOM, based on the ruling of the Chief Justice on August 14, 2019, that house-to-house registration is not unlawful and is constitutional, the data garnered from the registration exercise must be merged with the existing National Register of Registrants database, NRRDB. The Commission will move to ensure all arrangements for the publication of a credible preliminary list of electors, PLE, before commencement of an extensive claims and objections, C&O, exercise. On the other hand, the opposition People's Progressive Party, Civic, is urging GECOM to move decisively by immediately launching a claims and objectives exercise, which will allow those who are not on the National Register of Registrants and are eligible to be properly registered. The parties of the view that the decision made by GECOM on Tuesday is the only logical one that could have been made. However, for the PPP, the planned merger of data from the house-to-house registration will not improve the quality or credibility of the database. Rather, it will further contaminate the National Register of Registrants and cause further delays in the holding of elections.
In sports, after a 318-run defeat in Antigua, the West Indies are playing for a series-leveling victory as they play India in the second test at Sabina Park starting today, August 30. The West Indies batting lineup will once again be put under the microscope as the Caribbean side fights to level their two-match series against the Indians. In the weather report, Dorian is now a Category 2 hurricane and is forecast to intensify into a powerful Category 4 over the weekend. At 4 a.m. this morning, the center of Hurricane Dorian was located near latitude 23.8 degrees north, longitude 69.1 degrees west. The hurricane should move over the Atlantic well east of the southeastern and central Bahamas on Friday, approach the northwestern Bahamas, and move over portions of the northwest Bahamas on Sunday. Maximum sustained winds are near 165 kilometers per hour with higher gusts. Strengthening is forecast during the weekend. Dorian is likely to remain an extremely dangerous hurricane while it moves near the northwestern Bahamas and approaches the Florida Peninsula through the weekend. Hurricane Dorian, is not a threat to Jamaica, and the Meteorological Service will continue to monitor this system. And that's the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Have a great weekend.